Looking back on a year of my reading, the most important thing that I learned is how natural it is for children to die. See, John Green makes this point in his book, Everything is Tuberculosis, but even though we like to say just how unnatural it is for there to be death and disease and loss and tragedy, especially when it affects the young, that could not be farther from the truth. To quote him directly, death is natural. Children dying is natural. None of us actually want to live in a natural world. And it's all the unnatural things we've developed over the millennia that have lulled us into this delusion. Like, vaccines are unnatural. Medicine is unnatural. Hospitals and novels and saxophones and airplane travel and martinis are all unnatural. And our world is so much better off for having them. Reading that passage in Everything is Tuberculosis fundamentally changed the way that I look at the world and consider questions of what's natural versus unnatural. And I was reminded of it today looking at this graph on Kottke about long-run childhood mortality. For almost all of human history, 50% of children died before they reached adulthood, and today that number is just around 4%, which is still way too high, especially given our means to prevent it, but an incredible accomplishment in a very short amount of time. Like, before 1800, basically every single parent knew what it was like to bury a child, and the fact that that is now this alien, awful experience that most of us would imagine is the worst thing that can happen to a person shows just how far we've come. I do think understanding this begs the question that if the past and the people in it have done so much for us, to the point that their world seems unrecognizable, and their commonplace tragedies strike us as horrifically unimaginable, what is our duty in the present and what do we owe the future? Like, I'm not going to pretend that I'm personally putting anyone on Mars, and I don't expect any of you individually to find the cure for cancer, but as beneficiaries of this tremendous achievement for our species, I do think we have some obligation through our personal decisions, through our social choices, for how we vote, for how we purchase, to try to focus on endeavors that will extend the miracle that is life as far and as wide as possible. I can't recommend Everything is Tuberculosis enough for that insight and also the work it does exposing this disease, which is still going to kill 1 million people this year, even though it is an entirely preventable tragedy. But if you need a quicker reminder on just how lucky we are to live where and when we do, check out the Kottke graph. It's a good start.